Well, we've been packing for about 4 days constantly, but I think we're there. Got flights today. Let's hope everything carries off and takes off and does what it's supposed to. But let's have a walk through the shed. In January 2022, we packed up our household into the shed and began the arduous journey back to Irene. Although COVID travel restrictions have been eased, the legislation and bureaucracy to get ourselves to French Polynesia was a logistical nightmare, and never mind the inflated prices of the meagre selection of flights. How many days to go, Jakes?
No more days.
0.
Because it's gone today.
Look in the shed. We've been in now. Three, 4, 5, I don't know. Lost count. Our travel itinerary involved multiple hotel bookings, multiple flights, multiple car hire, multiple border crossings, multiple COVID tests, some spookily empty planes and airports, and all of this over an exhausting 72 hours of travel. Yay, hotel rooms! But finally, after an inordinate amount of stress and travel, we finally made it to the beautiful island of Tahiti. Tahiti was not our final destination though, and we still had one arduous leg of our odyssey to get to Apataki Atoll, the tour motos. The 10 days we did spend in Tahiti though was not a holiday, as we spent an exhausting time buying spares and supplies and loading them onto the cargo ship to follow us on. On top of that, our poor Callum ended up in hospital with a serious virus of unknown origin. Well, we have to get all of this into a small rental car and then onto the cargo ship and then onto a ski boat to transfer across to Irene. But next step, we're getting there. Cargo loaded. Finally, despite the best efforts of the universe trying to prevent us getting back to our boat, we landed in the tour motos and headed over to our beloved Irene. That's what an anchor chain looks like after 2 years in a chain locker. Unfortunately, when we finally got onto Irene, we were nearly heartbroken. 2 years storage in the hot, wet, tropical hardstand on Apataki had not done her any favours.
Now this is a lot of tape.
The window seals had opened up, and along with the cockroach infestation and water damage, the casualty list included a stovetop, 1-engine starter motor, 1-engine water pump, anchor chain, freezer, and our batteries. With no other choice but to stop crying and get on with it, we spent a further grueling 2 more weeks on the hardstand, And when we finally did splash, we were reduced to tears once again after the windlass output shaft sheared after dropping the pick. Alright, some bush mechanic work here. As we got out after being on the hard, we dropped our anchor, all was good. And as we slacked back to put the anchor chain on the bridle, the windlass just absolutely fell in a heap. So what happened is the shaft completely sheared. Now what I'm hoping is that we have a tiny bit of extra shaft because it's designed for a thicker deck, and that we can get this end with a chamfer there and a screw bolt hole onto there. But we don't have a lathe, so I'm going to be using an angle grinder, a file and a hacksaw. I'll let you know the outcome. A few moments later. Hey, look at that. Sounds like a winch that might actually work. Give him a nice pat. Nice, Sharky. Eventually though, with an anchor going up and down, and after spending a large portion of our cruising budget shipping new gear from Tahiti, it was time to say goodbye to old friends, head on over to the southern pass and start enjoying ourselves. Not a bad place to be. After all that time sweating it out in the hot dusty yard, the little village of Niutahi at the southern pass was a dream come true. We managed to slip into the tiny fishing harbour and made the most of our time there while waiting for our batteries to arrive on the cargo vessel. At last, we were having fun and living the cruising life. Butterfly fish helping me do the dishes. We had unknowingly loaded our new house batteries onto the inter-island cargo ship the locals call the ghost ship due to its total lack of route, schedule or predictability. Although slightly frustrating at first, it meant we really got to enjoy the local village and we soon became part of the community. It's been a bit scarce on the rain, so we have to top up with brought water. Of course, this frustration was much lessened with the arrival of a fresh early season swell coming through and an empty lineup. Hey, hopefully there's our batteries. Mary Stella eventually arrives. And just as the swell died off, our batteries arrived. With power now available for the autopilot and cold beers, it was time for one last dive outside the pass and then head on to new destinations. Oh yes, there's got to be some batteries on there.